those in the internet lands. My name is Jaimelyn Gray. I am the host of this program. We call it You've Got a Thing, an interview thing about Milwaukee theater things, because that's what we like to talk about around here, because theater is a public good and everybody should see more of it. And so I'm here to just facilitate some information about what's going on around the greater Milwaukee area. Well, not the greater Milwaukee area. Yeah, we've got Forte's opening show this weekend, and so we got a little bit reaching out into the Milwaukee County lands. And so yes, so welcome if you're watching or listening on a podcast or whatever. I'm very excited today because the air is getting a little colder, and that is my favorite time of year. The fall time is my favorite, and I'm wearing my new favorite sweatshirt with my favorite band, and I'm just so excited. So I'm excited to be here and do this program today and just talk to you a little bit about my other favorite thing, which is theater. So today we've got a really great interview with a couple of really great artists from one of my personal favorite companies, Pink Umbrella Theater Company, which is a company that is built for and includes and facilitates work by disabled persons from all categories of disabilities, physical, mental, emotional, all across the disability spectrum, because there's there's a lot of people out there that, all the way from things that you can see to things that you can't see. And disability affects a lot of people, and my own life as well. I talk often about my daughter, who was born with a genetic disorder, and so she's a big part of my life, and so I'm really grateful to that company for the opportunities that they provide artists who are disabled by creating work and performing work that offer space for disabled artists. And so we're going to talk to Clayton Mortal and Pip Buffington about their upcoming In the Spotlight series, which is kind of a showcase about new works that they've been working on, their disability canon. They put a bunch of artists together to create work, to add works to the disability canon, theatrical canon. And so we had a really great time talking about that. Yesterday was when we got that interview in the can. And so we will get to that in just a few minutes. But first, I would like to tell you about a handful of other things that are going on around the community, because it's an awful busy weekend. Not awful. It's a great busy weekend. And I would love for you to go and see whatever you can, support the arts, get out there, see some things. And so first, I'd like to talk about a great project from Milwaukee Opera Theater, who's partnered with UW Milwaukee's Peck School of the Arts. They got together, and it was really an adaptation built by Jill Anaponasek and Jeffrey Mosser to do an adaptation of HMS Pinafore's, the HMS Pinafore, which is a book and music by Gilbert and Sullivan. And so it's very famous. It's one of those shows that if you think you don't know it, you probably know it. You probably know a song or two from it. because it's so embedded in our culture. And so this is one weekend only. It's this weekend only, which is often how school programs work. And this is no different. And so if you're going to see this, you need to get your butt in there. There are other things that are multiple weekends, so plan accordingly. And so HMS Pinafore from Milwaukee Opera Theatre and the Peck School of the Arts. And so your best way to be able to find tickets and get your butts and seats is by going to Milwaukee Opera Theatre. That's a TRE.org, MilwaukeeOperaTheater.org. And you'll find all the information on their site, their new site. They just made a transfer to a new site, and it looks beautiful. And so you can go there to check that out and go and see a musical. Next we have in our weekend plans here, happy opening to Forte Theater Company, and they're opening Rodgers and Hammersteins, however you say it, South Pacific. I did this show once, way back in my Manitowoc community theater days. Did this many moons ago. So Forte Theater Company is opening it this weekend, so we'd love to say happy opening to you. If you're unfamiliar with this show, it takes place during World War II and follows Nellie Forbush, who's a spunky nurse from Arkansas, and falls in love with a French planter. And when Nellie learns that the mother of Emil's children was an island native, she refuses Emil's proposal of marriage, unable to overcome the prejudices that she was raised with. And then meanwhile, at the same time, there's a Lieutenant Joe Cable who falls in love with a Tonkinese girl named Liat, but he too denies himself the future for the same fears that haunt Ellie. So it really is a story about prejudices and how they really can affect our lives. And so they're opening that this weekend. They only run, Forte only runs 2 weekends over at the Sabre Arts Center. That's in Franklin High School, I believe. I should. My mind is not serving me the way that I would like it to. But they run out of they work in collaboration with the high school over there. And so go to their website, Forte Theatre, that's a theatre company.org, to find out more about where they perform out of, where you can get your tickets. I think they're on Ovation Tix, but you can get the link through that site. And so that's Forte Theatre Company.org. Go and see a classic musical from Rodgers and Hammerstein. Don't know. Somebody message me. Let me know. I'm not perfect. I think we've all discovered this by now. Okay. Next, we have Fiddler on the Roof. Everybody knows Fiddler on the Roof. And we had a great interview with Mr. Michael Unger last week. You need to go back and check that out. So knowledgeable, that man. I always love talking to him. And another show that, if you don't think you know it, you probably know it. You probably know tons of songs from Fiddler on the Roof. This show features Andrew Varela and Janet Metz, who are two amazing amazing performers. And if there's any reason to go and see it, it's to see them. They've never been on stage together, and they've never worked together. And so that's a really great reason to go and see it. And then also, Skylight has partnered with Marquette University and Violins of Hope to just make this production so packed with opportunity and history. It's a really special production that Mr. Unger has put together. But again, go back to last week and listen to that interview, or watch that interview on the YouTube or the Facebook, and learn more about those collaborations and what you can do to support that team. And so for these folks, you're gonna want to go to SMT, Skylight Music Theatre, smtmke.org. Is their short URL address, smtmke.org, for Fiddler on the Roof with Andrew Varela and Janet Metz. Great team that you should go and see. So go and see it. That'll run for a bit through the end of the month here. They close the day after We the Constructivists, my company, opens our production over there in the Broadway Theater Center. So this is all Broadway Theater Center stuff. Woohoo. So there you go. And then next we have the ever hard-working Interchange Theater Co-op that has things to do, improv to see every weekend. And then they also have on Thursday nights their open jam or open mic. And so you can go to their website. It's Interchange Theater, that's a TER, interchangetheater.com/shows. Easiest website URL to find out what's going on with those guys over there. Great band of merrymen and in improv. And so but this weekend upcoming, they've got I thought this was clever, Hispanic at the Wisco. I thought that was, anybody know Panic at the Disco, the band? Anybody? I always get crickets when I record this program. I don't know what's up with that. It's celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. And so they're showcasing Hispanic performers in a night of comedy, which is superb. Javier Castillo, Cristina Gutierrez, and Maria Acosta. Go and find out more about that and what else is happening this weekend. You can go to interchangetheater.com again to find out all the info that you need to know. And then if you just put /shows at the end of that, you'll be right where you need to be. And so that is the updates that we have as far as shows this weekend are concerned. But then we also have, as we just mentioned, it is Hispanic Heritage Month. That's September 15th through October 15th. So this will go about another week. And it's a great time to celebrate and learn and appreciate and understand the rich tapestry of Hispanic and Latino cultures and their contributions to art, music, literature, science, politics, education, and countless other areas of our world. I found a good site for that would be the National Education Association. So that's NEA.org. And they seem to have really great utilities there to learn more about Hispanic Heritage Month. So go and check that out. And then it's also National Disability Employment Awareness Month. always great to look around your world and see who you work with. And again, since we're going to go into talking about working artists with Pink Umbrella Theater Company, go and check out this annual event. It's observed in October. It celebrates the value and talent of workers with disabilities and how they add to the workforce and economy. I thought a good site for that would be the National Down Syndrome Society. That's ndss.org. They seem to really have a handle on what this means to the world. And so go and check that out. Then it is also Filipino American History Month. The thing that I liked most about this was that it commemorates the landing of the first Filipinos in Morro Bay, California on October 18th in 1587. And I said this last week. I want to know how they found out that intel and where it came to pass that was facts. So a good site. It was the Filipino American National Historical Society. That's FANHS -national.org. And find out more about the Filipino Americans' contributions, achievements, and cultural contributions. It's, like you said, it's just good to learn about your world around you and people other than yourselves, outside of yourself. And so that is that. And finally, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Women, go out and get your mammograms. People go out and get your mammograms, because I don't know the percentage, but it's men get breast cancer as well, as far as I recall. Yes, overwhelmingly does affect women more, but there you go. I learned an interesting fact. There's a category of breasts called dense breasts, and they have started working with new technology that can do better imaging for dense breasts and find cancer earlier, because mammograms and dense breasts, there's a challenge getting through the dense breast material to find the early signs of cancer. And so, but like 50% of women have dense breasts. I thought that's a lot. I thought that was interesting. And so you can go to breastcancer.org to find out more, find out where to go to get your mammograms and testing done, and what you can do to have better awareness of breast cancer in and around your life. So do that. I know I give you a lot of information. I know I give you a lot of information, but I think it's just important to recognize things other than the craziness and chaos that sometimes exists in our lives. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. If you want to find me out and talk to me about life and things, you can always email me. I try to be as transparent as humanly possible. I feel like it's good. It's good for the world to have us weirdos who like to, be a little transparent and be open books, and I feel like it helps make connections and helps some people to be more open themselves, lead by example kind of thing. So there you go. Wow, that was a tangent. Wow. Wow. Okay. So anyway, all right. Here we go. So we have a great interview for you, as I said, with Clayton and Pip, and we're going to talk about their In the Spotlight series. And so here's that interview. Okay, and great. And today we have Pip Buffington and Clayton Mortal, two actors from Pink Umbrella's upcoming In the Spotlight series weekend. They are actors in pieces in that they are doing in this showcase. And I'm so happy to have you here today. Thank you so much for making time for me.
You're welcome.
No problem.
Yay. So let's just, Clayton, could you give me just a little bit of an overview of Pink Umbrella and your mission?
Yeah, so basically Pink Umbrella is a theater company of, by, and for disabled people. If I had to sum it up in one sentence, that'd basically be it. But
that's an excellent sentence.
I don't know what our precise mission is, but I suppose it would be to, not only provide acting, opportunities for disabled people, but also, sorry. Ash,
to create,
I was just saying, making sure that people of disabilities have paying jobs under the performing arts, like Pink Umbrella.
Okay. Making sure that people, disabled actors and theater artists in general, that they have access to paid opportunities to work in the theater settings, and to provide, what am I looking for? Accessibility, but also productions of works, I'm sorry.
No. Clayton, I think what I am most impressed by and I'm really excited about is that you all are developing work to add to the disability canon.
Oh yeah.
And so this weekend's production of In the Spotlight is actually work that you in Pink Umbrella's disability cohort have created to showcase disabled artists, not only in the works themselves, but were created by disabled artists. Am I getting that? The gist of that, correct?
Yeah, I would say so.
Great. I'm trying to do better about my research.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't know if all of the writers in the cohort are disabled themselves, but we do have. I don't know if they're all disabled, but
they could be disabled, but there could also be allies of the disabled as well.
Yes.
And we had a fair amount of input, as the actors, into the writing process. We gave a lot of feedback to the writers. So even if the writers themselves didn't identify with a disability, all of the actors do. And so through our feedback, we were able to provide authenticity to the work.
That's awesome. That is life goals. That is what that is. And so talk to me a little bit more about the actual event this weekend is called In the Spotlight. Is the actual title of the working showcase this weekend.
Yeah.
It's the theme of the stories as well, told by people, actors and writers with disabilities.
Yeah.
Great. No worries. And so how many pieces are there being presented this weekend?
So there's one for each writer. Do you remember how many there are? Because I can't.
There's 8.
8. Yeah, let's say 8.
Okay, so there's 8 pieces of work being presented, and then how many artists about are being showcased in each piece?
I think there are 8 writers, but I think there might actually be like 16. So there are 2 pieces of work for each writer. And then,
great.
Yeah. So there's a like scene piece, and then there's either a monologue or a song by each writer. So there are 16 pieces, I think, from each writer, 16 pieces from in total from the 8 writers. And then there's bookended by songs by Patrick Thompson and David Lancel, who have written for us previously. So there's an opening number by Patrick and a closing number by David. Patrick, who wrote Kaleidoscope, Patrick Thompson, who wrote Kaleidoscope, and then David Lancel and Patrick Thompson partnered to write Portraits, which was performed in summer 2024.
2023 and 2024.
Yeah, so Kaleidoscope was the summer of 2023, and Portraits was the summer of 2024. I know this because my daughter was 10 months old when I was in Kaleidoscope, and that was the first piece of theater she ever saw live.
Yay!
And Portraits was the summer she would have turned 2. And she was just running around circles around everyone in the theater, and they were very accommodating to her as well. And so that was marvelous, because it was some of the first pieces of live theater that she ever saw. So that's how I remember it anyway. Not just that I was in it, but also how she was able to receive it.
That's great. I mean, you introduce theater to people when they're young, right? And you make fans for life is hopefully what you do, right? So can you talk about a little bit about what you are doing in the pieces as actors? You don't have to give away everything, but just, give us a little sneak peek behind a little bit of the action.
Well, there is one piece in which I perform as a river tour guide.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. And I play this sort of really bombastic sort of, imagine, just somebody like, who's a good example I can give?
Boom from Biggertop?
Brian Blessed, or actors like that, who are just so, huge and larger than life, and just, I don't know why they chose to write the character like that, but, and I portray him as being this kind of person. And I just get so enveloped into the role. I'm trying not to scare anyone with how loud I get, but, prepare yourself is what I would say for that.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah. I would say that I really love voice acting. It's like one of the things that I really love, and I get quite a few opportunities to show various different ranges of what I can do, and I am often times trapped in what I like to call the toddler underworld. And I take a lot of different inspirations from various different pieces of toddler media. And I play a forgotten sock. And the place that I got the inspiration for the voice of said sock is Chili the Snowman from Doc McStuffins meets Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. And I was looking at some of the different places in which the dialogue had different vibes of what does this character sound like to me? And the first line of the thing was this really extended hello. And I was like, what character does that? And I'm like, oh, Tigger does that. But then the character also has these points of kind of almost being a little bit neurotic. And I was like, oh, I know a character that does that. And I'm like, both of them have this kind of deeper register. And I was like, this is perfect. I can play with this. I can run with this. And then, of course, you eventually put your own spin on it. The more that you run it, the more that you play with it, it kind of develops into your own thing. But that was the process of that was really fun.
That's awesome. That's amazing. That's that journey of discovery for artists is something that we all enjoy when we get to play around and discover characters through the process. I think that's great. Can you talk about sort of both Pip and Clayton, what drew you to theater in the first place?
Who wants to start?
I'll let you go first.
Sure. I mean, for me, it was music. I mean, I've always been, as far back as I can remember, drawn to music. I oftentimes say that music is what taught me to speak, and to speak with inflection in a way that could be, understood. Because I used to listen to arias, the opera arias, on the oldie, or on the classic radio station with my grandfather when I was very small. And then I went and I studied English in college, and I really developed a fondness for Shakespeare when I took a Shakespeare class. And I wrote essays about several different plays, and I'd studied obviously English and stuff in high school, but I grew to have a different appreciation of it when I studied it from the English side of things. And I did stuff with that degree until I had my kid, and then I stepped away from that side of the career, and I was thinking that I would end up doing more like copy editing type stuff, because I was a teacher for a while, and then I was like, I can't teach and have a kid and be disabled. It was too much. And so
there are limits.
Yeah, there are limits to these things. And then also just being in a classroom is a little bit hectic for my brain.
Sure.
So it was a little too, my brain was getting a little scrambled. And so I was like, I need to prioritize here. And so I was looking for a career that I could do with having a child. And I was like, I'll start volunteering with Pink. And I'm like, they, sent me some kind of volunteer copy editing type stuff. Like maybe that's the way that I could make a living. I'll look into copy editing, whatever. And then I was volunteering as, a person to help with our poetry event, M's Ensemble. And I just sort of ended up singing, backstage, and I had been doing some vocal coaching because my voice had dropped pretty significantly postpartum with Pink, after doing some volunteer work with them. And my spouse was like, let's just figure out what is going on and whatever, because it's something you love, and let's call it a birthday present, whatever. And I was like, thank you. And so I just kind of got these little acting hooks into the company. And they were auditioning for Kaleidoscope relatively recently after M's Ensemble. And the funny part of the story is I was very close with my late grandfather, the one who I had the opera connection with. And he died the week of the Kaleidoscope auditions. And I auditioned anyway. And then I got the role of Ollie in Kaleidoscope the night of his wake. I got the contract. And I always like to think that my grandfather was pulling strings for me to be a part of that, because that was such a huge deal for me. And so my story of getting back into theater after a lot of time away, because I was like, I don't have any professional credits at all, and none since high school. I've been studying characters mostly from a very different point of view for a long time. But I think that helps me sometimes to identify with this is where I want to put inflection, or this is where I want to do this or that or the other thing. It gives me a very different perspective, which I think is kind of fun.
That's great. That's great. Clayton, what about you?
Yeah.
Well, basically so my acting career in earnest, I think, began when I was in middle school. In my 8th grade year, I auditioned for the part of the stage manager, the character, not the other thing.
The job was
Not the job.
Yeah, in our town by Thornton and Wilder. And you can see how I got typecast after that, right?
Yeah, we can see it. We can hear it. We got it. We know it.
And so that was the first acting gig I ever got. And I did a bunch of other acting roles throughout middle school and high school. And my favorite one was Boris Kalinkov in You Can't Take It With You. I got to take my shirt off in front of like 200 people in the audience and just prance about the stage. And it was
Nice.
It was a lot of fun. And
Nice. Yeah.
then after high school, I kind of took a hiatus from acting for a while, and then I got back into it in 2017 with the Village Playhouse, their production of the Glitter Girls, which is a play. It was a world premiere, and I got a part in that, and that's what got me back into real acting, professional theater.
Nice.
And then I got involved with Pink Umbrella, I think when they first got founded.
Yeah.
I remember going to the first class and being like, I don't know if I can handle this. You know, all these disabled people just being like, just talking loud and what have you and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, you know, I understood it, but I was just like, I don't know if I can handle this. And so I just,
No, because I think you can tell people you have some auditory sensitivities, right?
I do, yeah. And
Yeah, and you navigate your life around it, and it's great.
I try to.
You try, yeah.
And then during the COVID pandemic happened, and then in 2020, I started getting involved in one-on-one sessions, virtual sessions that they were having. And
Nice.
that was when I really started to strengthen my acting skills and strengthen my, ability to perform all these different characters. Like the Shakespeare classes I took with James Fletcher.
Yes.
And some musical theater classes I did too. I'm not a good singer, but I know you disagree with me, but my mom does too. But anyway, I did all that, and then I got cast in Shine in 2021 with Ash, who is sitting behind the camera.
And we love you for the role.
And I got
That was a great show.
Yeah, it was very nice. And
Yeah.
And since then, I've just gotten myself involved mainly with other theaters like the Constructivists and with Village Playhouse, but also with Pink Umbrella. Like last year, I remember I did an interview with you about this too, with A Christmas Carol.
Yes.
The one act or one person production. I don't know if I should announce this yet. No, I'll save it for later.
Yeah.
Save it for later. We've got many more. You've got things, interviews, and we'll do it. We'll talk about your stuff another time. It'll be great.
Yeah, I'll save it for another Facebook post.
Save it. We like secrets around here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I think it's great that to show those people out there how great the community is and how you can bounce from one place to the next and do the work that you need to do. And also just how great Pink Umbrella is at creating work for artists. I'm always blown away by the amount of work that Pink is making happen all the time. I'm like, aren't you guys tired?
Yeah.
So you have the spotlight coming up this weekend. Where can people go to get their tickets?
On the website?
Yeah.
They can
On the website, yes.
Theater, Pink Umbrella Theater.
Yeah, the Pink Umbrella Theater.
Theater.org/cohort disability.
Yep.
They can get their tickets. But I recommend that you choose the barrier-free, where you can actually get admission for free.
Yes. And then the nifty little link right down there, the pinkumbrella.org link right there.
Yes.
You can go there and then just follow the little links in the website. You can follow them right along to the Into the Spotlight. If you'd like to provide donations to us, we would love that.
You should do that.
Yes, you should continue to support us, but you do not have to. There are barrier-free options if you would prefer.
Also, you can also follow us on our Facebook page, and there's always links to get tickets as well. So there's always
Yes.
options. Making sure Pink Umbrella is accessible for everyone.
Oh, and also there are fun things. In addition, we are running workshops this week as well. One of them is like literally in like a couple minutes, but there's also other fun workshops. They're probably not by the time of this release. Unfortunately, there will be like one left. That's like a workshop for like vocal coaching, but there is one on Friday that has vocal coaching by Patrick Thompson that will be left on Friday.
But that's just to say that but Pink has classes and workshops and performances and so many things all the time.
Yeah.
So
for the rest of the month of October, you can purchase the rest of our past performances for donations, or I think also for free. So if you want,
and you can watch past performances.
Yes, you can watch past performances for the rest of the month by season, all of them. So Shine, Portraits, Kaleidoscope, Christmas Carol, Biff, or many, many others. The stage readings from the summer are their own season. All of them are available also on that nifty little website that was scrolling along down below. You can go ahead and again donate if you want to, please. Or you can. I believe also there's a very free option for that as well.
Also share with the media too.
Yeah, do that.
But you can go to Pink Umbrella Theater, TER.org, and you will find all the links to all the things that you could possibly need in your life from Pink. Yes. Well, Pip and Clayton, thank you so much, and Ash from behind the camera. Thank you so much for, like I said, giving time today. I know you all are so busy, so thank you so much for making space for me. And I hope you sell out and have so much fun this weekend. And I will hopefully see you there.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
See you later. Bye. Aren't they just great? Aren't they just the bee's knees? Clayton is actually an associate artist over at the Constructivists. I've worked with him a bit in the past, and he is a smart man, and as you can hear, he has a lovely voice, and it's always, and he's a wonderful performer as well. And so if you have the opportunity to go and see their series this weekend, because it's also one weekend only, go and check that out. And so that's what we have for today. That is it. That's what we got. Woo! Bring on fall. Yeah. So excited. I am. Okay. So that's what we have. That's why do I say we? That's all I have for today. Excited too, because next week Renaissance Theater Works will be on to talk about Switzerland. I have never read this play. I do not know anything about it. So I'm very excited to talk to somebody, whoever they can send over to this little box unit of interview land to talk about that play. And so I hope you will join us next week and come back. Go listen to past episodes, even if performances are closed. I always try to talk about the companies themselves so that you can learn more about the companies that exist in Milwaukee and how long they've been around and where they're located and all those kinds of things. Information, people, information, so important. All right. So that's all I have for today. And I hope to meet up with you next week on You've Got a Thing.